Welcome, Army fans. This is Joe Iacono with GoBlackKnights.com with our post-game analysis of the Army-UTSA game. Army wins 29 to 24. A lot to talk about today. We will get into it. Army probably their most impressive win of the season, not in terms of dominance, but in terms of how good and how hot the opponent was and how well UTSA was prepared and how Army was still able to take care of business. Of course, with the win today, Army finishes their American Athletic Conference regular season play at, at 8-0 and ends up, they will host the American Athletic Conference championship game this coming Friday night with Tulane's upset loss against Memphis the other day on Thanksgiving. So just everything that could go right for Army this weekend did go right. Really played well, really showed a lot of mental and physical toughness coming off of the beating they took at the hands of Notre Dame last weekend. And curious to see what's going on at Notre Dame USC as soon as I wrap this up. But just an outstanding performance across the board by Army, a mentally and physically tough performance by them. Just overcame a lot of adversity, had to overcome a lot of challenges as they have all year long. And Coach Monken said it in the post-game presser, really proud of this team. And we here at GBK are really proud of the team too and what they've accomplished. The 2017 and 2018 teams both had double-digit wins. The 96 team had double-digit wins. And now today, Army goes to 10-1, and they will, worst case scenario, finish the season 10-4. But we think there's a lot of great things out there ahead for this team as they still have 3 games left before they put a wrap on the 2024 campaign. We'll get into that in a minute, but let's go through the game and just kind of start with the summary. Starts off, Army loses the toss again. Never great. We like to defer. We like getting the ball in the third quarter. But on the first drive, it looked like they were going to be stopped 3 and out, but they convert 3 fourth downs. UTSA sold out to stop the quarterback and the fullback today. I have never seen a team sell out to stop the QB and the fullback like I saw from UTSA today. 6 down linemen, 7 down linemen in some cases, maybe 3 down linemen with 4 linebackers walked up on the ball, 2 inside backers a couple yards off the line of scrimmage, and their safety 7 yards off the line of scrimmage. Almost every play, 9 to 10 guys in the box, corners screaming downhill, just filling the alley, trying to stop pitch. And that allowed Army to take advantage of some of that with some play action fakes. So on the first drive, Army converts 3 fourth downs. And then Bryson Daly hits a play action pass to Terrell Robinson, 41 yards to go up 7-0. 8-minute drive to start the game. So really good job there by Army to kick things off. But then on the touchdown, the game was really chippy. We thought Bryson Daly got hit late in the head and neck area a couple times, and it wasn't called. And as a result of that, led to some chippiness. Daly got an unsportsmanlike penalty on the touchdown, which I think is pretty funny on a quarterback. But, it's funny. They say Bryson's a linebacker in a quarterback's jersey. And sometimes I feel like the officials don't treat him like a quarterback as a result of that. It's like, oh, okay, well, he's a runner, he's tough, blah, blah, blah. If they treated some of these other quarterbacks the way they treated him, unbelievable, some of the calls he doesn't get. So after the unsportsmanlike, UTSA gets great starting field position at the -45, go right down the field, bang in a 9-yard touchdown run, and they tie it up 7-0 real quick. End of the first quarter. 2 drives in the first quarter. Beginning of the second quarter, Army starts driving the ball again, converts a lot of 3rd and 4th downs. They get stopped on a 4th and 2 at the +20 on a Bryson Daly run. So they were 3 for 4 after that. That was the first 4th down that they got stopped on. But then the defense steps up big time. 3 and out after a holding penalty and a Caleb Fortner sack. Made a really nice play on Owen McCown, the UTSA quarterback. UTSA, I'll tell you what, really hot team. They won 4 games in a row. We're scoring in the 40s and 50s. Really talented athletes all over the field. Great front seven defensively. Owen McCown, really talented quarterback who made some questionable decisions probably. But a lot of talent at the wide receiver position, a lot of talent at the tight end position. And once again, Nate Woody's defense and Caleb Fortner step up. Fortner with the sack on 3rd and 10. At that point, I wrote UT is winning in the trenches, and their defensive backs are flying to the alley to stop our run. Army drives down again. Trey Granati hits about a 39-yard field goal to go ahead 10-7 for Army there. UTSA drives down. We stop them, hold them to a field goal. It's 10-all. Then on that drive, Caleb Fortner had another beautiful pass coverage, pass breakup on the tight end in the end zone. So it's 10-all. So Army does a really good job managing the clock, using their timeouts to try and score before half, knowing that UTSA is going to get the ball in the second half. We're driving the ball in perfect position to score, and Noah Short fumbles a pitch by Bryson Daly on the option in plus territory. Pitch wasn't perfect. It was off his inside shoulder, a little bit behind him, but Noah's got to catch that, to be honest with you. And then right after that, UTSA gets a little discombobulated, and they fumble the ball right back to Army, right about the same yard line we gave it up on. We get the ball back with 22 seconds left. Bryson Daly has a really nice run out of a passing type of formation play down to the 18. Goes down with 4 seconds left. Granati comes in, bangs in a key 35-yard field goal, and Army takes a 13-10 lead into the half. Then UTSA gets the ball first drive of the second half, has a really nice scoring drive, goes down and scores in about 5 minutes or less. 4th and 1 at about the 20. Screen pass. Kid gets 2 great blocks and breaks it for a touchdown. And we see something we've only seen really against Notre Dame and for a couple minutes against North Texas. Army's trailing 17-13 in the third quarter. So is there any panic? Maybe on the part of Army fans, not on the part of Army players. Army comes right down the field. Looks like they're going to score. 2nd and goal from the 1. Bryson Daly gets stuffed at about the 1-inch line. Coach Monken thought he was in. A lot of people might have thought he was in. I did not. I honestly felt like it looked like they stopped him just short of the goal line. So they get the ball 3rd and goal from like the half-yard line, and tight end David Crossan false starts. And so now it's 3rd and goal from the 5. They try a pass. Thankfully, it doesn't get picked off. It was incomplete. Granati comes in, bangs in a 22-yard field goal. Army's still down 17-16. Key play on that drive. Big play action pass, post pattern to Liam Fortner for his first catch of the year down in the red zone to get the ball down to the 5-yard line. Cody Worley was dialing up great play action passes all day long when nothing was working in the run game. Like I said, quarterback and fullback were going nowhere. They tried to get the ball to the perimeter. A few of those plays, the Noah Short went okay, but a lot of them got stuffed for no gain or even negative plays. I think Coach Monken said they had 6 negative plays in the first half. So nothing's working in the run game. They had to dial up some play action fakes, and credit to Coach Worley for some great well-timed passes. I said Army was going to need at least the threat of a pass in order to beat these better teams on their schedule. And today, Bryson threw for 190 yards. Great execution by him. Great execution by the offensive line, giving them time to throw the ball. Great execution by the receivers, making some great catches in traffic. Noah had one. Tyrell had one. Casey Reynolds, of course, has really been the best receiver on the team this year and one of the MVPs on offense, had a number of big catches. Some of them he was wide open on. Other ones he made great plays in traffic. And Liam Fortner's was really a great catch under duress with great coverage. So great job by the entire offense being able to dial up and catch some big passes when they needed to. You know, Army doesn't need to throw for 300 or 400 yards, but 190 yards when the running game isn't going anywhere can really do a lot. They ended up with over 400 yards of total offense because they did rush for over 200 yards and they had 190 yards through the air. So Only two drives in the third quarter, just like the first quarter. So then we go to the fourth quarter. Army's down 17-16. UTSA concerned that Army was going to get the ball back and go on a long time consuming drive to take the lead at their own 15, goes for it on 4th and 1, and Caleb Fortner and Thomas and a host of other Army tacklers bust through, stop it short, and Army gets the ball with a really short field, which they needed the way their offense was not really moving the ball in their running game. Get the ball 1st and 10 from the 15. Bryson Daly goes in a couple plays later on a 1 yard run. They had to go for two there because they're up 22-17. They tried a reverse, which UTSA snuffed out a reverse pass. And so it's 22-17. Then UTSA is driving the ball. Gosh, so many Army defenders. We're so banged up on defense, but these guys just keep coming. And it speaks to the depth that Coach Woody has developed on the defensive side of the ball. These guys just keep coming. Casey Larkin went down with the same shoulder, it looked like, that he hurt in the Notre Dame game. And gosh, Casey Larkin's been playing really great football all season long. But he goes down. Colin Madison comes right in off the bench. First play from scrimmage. They try and test Madison deep. Great coverage. The ball's underthrown a little bit. He picks it off. Huge 41-yard interception return. Army gets the ball in plus territory. Short field again, up 22-17. And the very first play from scrimmage, they run counter with Bryson Daly. Connor Finucane with a huge block on the perimeter to spring Daly, and he goes 40 yards for the touchdown to put Army up two scores, 29-17. Maybe the key sequence in the entire game right there. UTSA comes right back down, 55-yard explosive pass play to get the ball down to the 5 yard line. Let's talk about that. Max Domenico had to leave the game because his helmet came off. And I don't think Army was lined up correctly. They totally cut a guy loose over the middle. Nobody was near him. And Jaden Mays made a great play to run the guy down on the 5 yard line. And then UTSA punches it in on a run by the running back high on the next play to go down 29-24. Then Army gets the ball. They're driving. They convert a key 4th and 1 on the UTSA 30 with 3 minutes left. It looks like they're going to be able to run the clock out. But Jeff Traylor, great coach at UTSA. He does a really good job. I can't speak highly enough about that program and what a good job that guy does there with all the other schools in Texas and how he has to compete against them for recruits. And does a great job stopping the clock. Army has to kick a field goal with 2 minutes left. 48-yarder, probably on the max end of Trey Granati's range. He misses it wide left. And then here we go, right? UTSA has the ball, 1 timeout, 2 minutes left. Nervous time. Is the defense going to hold? Can they stop them? And guess who? Casey Larkin makes a huge interception on a deep ball to seal the game, and that's it. And Army wins 29-24. Looking at some of the stats from today, here we go. Army again, 407 yards of total offense when it was really tough sledding. Congratulations to Coach Lepp and Coach Traylor. Their game plan against the triple option was really solid. They really shut it down. And you can't blame Cody Worley for lack of creativity. I mean, he called a great game. He was trying everything he could and nothing was working. So he had to go to the air. And Bryson went 10 for 17 for 190 yards through the air. They ran the ball for 217 yards, 3.6 yards per carry average. Bryson Daly, another 100-yard rushing game. He is the all-time leading touchdown scorer of quarterbacks in the American Athletic Conference now with 25 on the season. He also now has 900-yard rushing games on the season, which breaks Mike Mayweather's record at Army. Just a record-setting awesome season for Bryson Daly. Best I've ever seen. Most dominant one-man performance I've seen at Army over the course of a season, maybe the entire time I've been watching Army football. Bryson Daly is such a difference maker. He deserves a host of postseason awards. I get that the offensive line has to do what they have to do. I get that it's a team effort. But I'm telling you, without Bryson Daly, I don't. We're definitely not a 10-1 team. I don't know what kind of team Army is, but definitely not 10-1. Um, Gosh, just a really. I want to give props to Nate Woody and Cody Worley. I was going to ask Coach Monken about him in the post game presser, but didn't get time. Nate Woody once again with this defense. Really, the only egg they've laid all season was against Notre Dame. And it's Notre Dame. So what do you expect? Basically, professional athletes out there playing college football. We give up 49 points. But Nate Woody, as that defense today was tested time and time and time again, they had to bring guys off the bench and fill in. Cody Harris Miller was hurt. Kyle Lewis, of course, is out for the season. Casey Larkin went down during the game. Dre Miller went down during the game. Tuioti went down during the game. One after the other, guys coming off the bench, filling in and getting key stop after key stop. The fourth and short, the three turnovers, just on multiple turnovers on downs. Just pitched an amazing ball game. UTSA had been putting 40 plus up on everybody, and we held them to 24 points. Unbelievable. Cody Worley on the other side of the ball. When your bread and butter, when nothing in the triple is working, nothing. Pitch wasn't working, dive wasn't working, quarterback wasn't working. Shotgun, QB follow, QB power, none of that stuff's working. Maybe a few counters and misdirections seem to do okay. The big counter play, of course, that went for the 40-yard touchdown run. But he's forced to go to the air with play actions, something him and Coach Monken loathe doing. It's a last resort, but you know what? It worked out pretty well. And let me tell you why that's important. Here's why that matters. Because John Summerall and Greg Gasparotto down at Tulane know how to defend this offense, and they're probably going to shut down the running game next week. But now, Cody Worley and Jeff Monken have given them something to think about. You want to bring your corners down and sell out to stop the run? Go for it. Because the play action fake is a real possibility, and we can do some real damage to the Tulane defense with the play action fake. Navy is going to defend the option and the running game really well. And Navy's got a bit of a dual threat this year, right? A little bit. They've got something to make you think about it. Well, all season long, I'm thinking, gosh, Navy has an advantage over Army because they're a little more two-dimensional. Not so fast. Army can throw the ball when they have to, too, and Navy's defensive backs aren't exactly all world. So I think we're going to be fine in that game as well. This team just keeps coming. They don't beat themselves. They had the one mistake on a fumble today. Bryson Daly said, we need to score touchdowns, not field goals. Trey Granati, again, was almost perfect. 3 for 4 on field goals, perfect on his PATs. Very, very reliable kicker in Trey Granati, especially in the red zone. But Army knows they need to score touchdowns to win games. The offense knows it, and they'll get the job done. You could tell the players were palpably excited to be able to host the conference championship game. The core was home on Thanksgiving leave this weekend. They wanted to give the core one more home game, and what better home game to give them than a conference championship? I realize Tulane's probably going to be favored in that game, but what I saw in the Memphis game, the way Army protects Mikey, what I saw in their ability to go to the air, what I've seen from their defense, again, I wouldn't be surprised if Tulane's favored, but Army can hang with Tulane. If Army doesn't beat Army, Army can win the American Athletic Conference Championship. And then we'll talk about the Commander-in-Chief's Trophy Championship. Army's players are calling this championship season. They've got the AAC Championship, the CIC Championship, and the Bowl Game Championship. And they have to be on their very best every single week. They got to stay healthy. They are banged up. They're playing a physical brand of football. But, man, are these kids tough, and, man, are they fun to watch. Just excited about what happened today. Excited about Army hosting the AAC Championship. And side note, after the North Texas game, yours truly bought plane tickets up to the tri-state area for the conference championship game. And thank you, Army football, for not making me change my plane tickets to New Orleans. And thank you, Memphis football, for not making me change my plane tickets to New Orleans and costing myself some extra money there. So really excited about that. I'm pumped to be at the game next week. Army still has all their goals out in front of them. They could go 13-1. No Army team has ever won more than 11 games. So a win over Tulane and a win over Navy, and they will break the all-time wins record at Army. And I think the College Football Playoff Committee, not that I'm not saying they deserve a bid, relax. They need to look at ranking Army again. Army needs to be ranked, in my opinion, at least 25th. And last shot across the bow to all the haters out there, all the Army has a fraudulent schedule. Army doesn't play anybody, blah, blah, blah. Well, the Memphis fans have been talking a lot of trash. You guys lost to UTSA and Navy. We just beat UTSA. Let's see what happens against Navy. But otherwise, shut your pie holes. Honest to goodness. You can't beat Navy or UTSA. I don't want to hear it. Just be quiet. Army's a better team. Shut up. End of story. Next. The Tulane fans have been saying the same thing. We'll see. We'll see what happens next week. But by the end of this thing, by the time it's all over, Army will have played UTSA, going to a bowl game, Tulane, Navy, the only top five, East Carolina, the only team in the top half of the American Athletic Conference that Army will skip at the end of this thing is Memphis. It just so happens that their schedule's backloaded. So for all the schedule haters, shut up. I knew Army would end up playing these tougher teams. It would just happen on the back half of the schedule as they continued to win and continued to prove how good they are. So I actually do keep hating. Don't shut your pie holes, because I think that just gives Army more bulletin board material. And the last thing I think you want to do is tick off Bryson Daly, the mob, Andon Thomas, Caleb Fortner. So by all means, keep hating, and Army will keep proving you wrong. You can tell we're a little excited on this Thanksgiving weekend. Army 8-0, hosting the American Athletic Conference Championship. Really, really tough challenge coming up against Tulane. I'm not going to lie. Army's going to have to play their best game of the season to beat them. But they do have a shot, especially in Michie Stadium. I think if the game was in New Orleans, I'd be a little more pessimistic. But with the game being Michie, I think they've got a real shot at Tulane. The other big advantage to the game being in Michie is they don't have to travel. Even though Navy gets an extra week to prepare, Army doesn't have to travel. And so right after Friday night, they can get in the Navy prep, which is amazingly good. So again, Army 29, UTSA in a second half of the season low, 24. Hats off to Jeff Traylor and the UTSA team. Really, really good game plan. You guys got a really good team. UTSA fans should be really proud. You guys have a great team. You're playing a great second half of the season. Good luck in your bowl game. I mean that sincerely. That's not a wise guy kind of remark. So here we go. Army off to the conference championship. Excited to cover that live from West Point Friday night. Go Army, beat Tulane.